going on? Joey JP here, checking in live, respectmyregion.com. Welcome to another episode of the RMR Podcast here on the Respect My Region Podcast Network. Again, I'm Joey JP, and we've got a very special guest today. We've got Tom Scoble here, Mother Magnolia, Oregon. Today we're talking about their Mother Magnolia Cultivation Platform. Tom, you and the team there in Oregon, man, you guys have been growing on a farm there. I think I saw on your video 32-acre farm. Have you been there for the 10 years that you're alluding to with that decade timeline?
Yeah, we were early to the party when the rec market launched in Oregon back in July of 2015.
Wow.
So we were growing under the medical program prior to that. And then as soon as Measure 91 passed in Oregon and they launched the rec program, we were one of the first applications in on that. And yeah, for the last 10 years, we've been cultivating at scale here on the farm. It is 32 acres. We only
that's like the property. That's the farm property.
Correct. And just to be clear, so we're not cultivating cannabis at 32 acres here. We literally don't have licenses in Oregon that would allow you to tackle 32 acres unless you stacked multiple licenses. So The only time that we've actually attacked those full acreage is when we did hemp back in 2019. And that was truly extraordinary to see. And actually, technically, we didn't do the 32 acres. We probably had more like 25 acres. But 30,000 hemp plants in full bloom was pretty epic. But for the
sea of green,
it was a sea of green, and it was one of the best summers I can remember. Being on the tractor, just running the field, it was amazing. But the actual Mother Magnolia cannabis side of things, we have the 2 barns for our indoor cultivation. We have 6 greenhouses, and then we have the outdoor full-term field. So we have a tier 2 mixed license here, which allows us to do the sun-grown as well as the indoor.
Hell yeah. And so it's important that you do both because you have this cultivation platform designed to help educate and encourage and walk people and take them along this journey of how to cultivate at commercial scale. Growing weed at home is one thing. Growing weed at home with 100 plants is one thing. But commercial scale, Tom, outdoor, indoor, 2 different sets of problems, different sets of financial things. You got timing scales, weather, moving. It's like musical chairs in the dark and then will the power still be on? You know what I mean? Like, it's not
100%.
easy.
It isn't. Cultivating at scale is very tricky. I think that when you compare growing at home versus growing at scale, it's a completely different set of challenges, of course, but at its core, it's still cultivation, right? And so what we've recently done is, and we're still working on developing this relationship with Guerrilla Grow Tents, but we decided to bring in a Guerrilla Grow Tent into our facility. It's actually technically outside of the facility, but it is a Guerrilla Grow Tent that we wanted to set up so that we could actually take all of our commercial scale approach and shrink it down into a 4x8 grow tent.
Wow.
And really dial in what the average homeowner who's growing at home in a grow tent is going to face in terms of those challenges that a grow tent has that our commercial rooms do not have. And so that is really where we've wanted to bridge that gap, is to basically take the Mother Magnolia Cultivation Platform, which at its core is designed to give homeowners the A to Z approach in terms of everything that we have developed over the last decade of cultivating at scale, then be able to shrink that down into a bite-sized grow tent or small garage or closet or cabinet, or even just the backyard. If you're just growing a few plants in your backyard, and taking all of the soil science and cultivation principles that we have dialed in and then apply those to a home grow.
Tom, I don't know any master growers or head growers or director of cultivations or facility managers that just studied cannabis, studied, and then got that job. None of them. Zero.
Right. Yeah.
People that had to do it. They had to physically be doing it, growing it at home, plants, the seeds, germination, propagation, babies, teen to flower to bush it out or whatever, and then strip it down, and then lollipopping, and then keep it going. You have to do it. You can't just read about it, Tom. And this is where I love that you're getting into that. You're a little over a year, right, into the cultivation platform. I was looking at the YouTube, right?
Yep. So for the last year, so we've actually been working on the cultivation platform for actually a couple of years now. The YouTube channel we started about a year ago.
Okay.
But I think that the whole premise of it is the 14 modules that we've developed is over 3 hours of content is a way to just anchor people in a baseline of information.
Yep.
Cool. Got it. And as you said, having that knowledge, having that cultivation information is important. But at the end of the day, it's all about taking that information and now actually doing it. Now,
In college, they call it those lab hours for your science classes, right?
there you
You got to
go.
get in the lab and do a little application.
100%. And so now you're in the lab. Now you're getting your lab hours in, but you're neck deep in your lab hours, and all of a sudden you hit a wall, and you're like, wait a second, hold on. This doesn't look like the experiment is going the way that I thought it was going to go. What do I do? And that's where our school community, SKOOL, school platform, is a
Yep.
really neat platform that's basically like Facebook groups, but better. It's not Facebook. So
Like Facebook's messy, sloppy, disorganized, unmoderated for the most part. Even
yeah.
though there's humans moderating it, it's like imagine you're in college, you're at that Harvard during Facebook time, and you're in that tech group, but you only get to meet up with them in person, and you work these hours. You never get to follow through and learn, man, on your own time, and that's where school. You had me look at that, Tom. I was very interested. There was a lot of stuff I could have gone and learned in there too. A lot of
Yeah.
different classes and programs.
It's exciting, right? So the school community is cool because if I'm now a cultivator, either I'm new to cultivation or not, but I'm working on my cultivation. I'm now posting pictures to the school community. I'm asking questions. You can use hashtags which are searchable. So if you have a question about fertility or propagation or IPM, we've got searchable hashtags in there. You post your pictures of your grow, hashtag show us your grow. Like, let's see how you're doing.
Yeah.
And that, whether you're in Timbuktu or, Tualatin, you're posting pictures. We're getting those images. We're now able to answer questions for you, give you some pointers, give you some support. It's just like if your buddy's a mechanic and you got to, drop the engine on your car, you're like, I've never done that before. I can't do it. But your buddy's like, I got you. I'll be right here to support you. It gives you the confidence to go ahead and roll up your sleeves and tackle a project like that. And that's really the premise of the Mother Magnolia cultivation community, is to support folks in their cultivation pursuits and demystify the process, and to basically give you that confidence that if you do get stuck, you're going to have a team of people to support you.
Yeah, I feel like Facebook groups, your school program, and that community, and LinkedIn, three solid places to go, but you're not going to get the same experience or value out of each. Joey, what do you mean? All the growers and brands, aren't those jobs, aren't they on LinkedIn? Well, yeah, but that's commercial only. It's not going to be a balance between what you're experiencing at home or on your little trap project versus Thousand Lighters warehouses in LA, or those tin aluminum building structures that you guys build in Oregon and Washington because of all the moss,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the water, right? You guys have buildings and then a building around the building, basically, in a lot of these places.
It's a box inside a box. That's
Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of cannabis places. Downtown, small towns, mountain towns, all over the country. They're doing stuff like that. I saw a greenhouse with the same model too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, a greenhouse with a big building and wrapped around the greenhouse, open air light stuff, fancy shit. Like there's so many different ways to do it, and that's where if you guys are only hanging out on LinkedIn, you're gonna miss part of the picture, and it's the most relatable part of the picture to your home grow legacy trap situation usually.
Yeah, I mean, look, when I was, back in college days, back in 19, boy, I'm gonna really date myself here. Back in the early 90s, my buddy brought some seeds back from Amsterdam. He had the Super
Mhm.
Skunk one. He,
Wow.
and he brought him in. He smuggled the seeds in the fingertips of his gloves. It was a different time when we were traveling back then. He brought him back, and my buddy who lived across the street from me in LA, his dad was the founder of Hydro Farm. Now, Hydro Farm, if you remember back in the day, was like that was the go-to for all the grow equipment that you needed. And so he called his dad. He's like, hey, can we get a couple of setups? And so we had a 2-bedroom apartment, and in one of our bedrooms we had the veg phase, and the other closet we had the flower, and it was beautiful. But there was, you had High Times magazine, trying to get information in terms of how to cultivate. We used his dad as a resource because his dad was the one that had founded, Hydrofarm, and had all the insights and all the intel. Today, in today's world, there's clearly no shortage of information online that you can track down. But the
Absolutely.
main issue that we see is all the conflicting information. How do you know if the information you're getting is from a trusted, vetted commercial cultivator that has actually done the work and is not just, using theoretical ideas as the approach for cultivation? So that's why we just felt like it made sense to really relate to, what it meant to cultivate for the first time and provide that information and that insight for people, to give them a trusted, vetted source of information and a place where they could ask follow-up questions, where you really
Yeah.
have that open community dialogue, where you can get like-minded growers all in one hub, asking questions and sharing images.
In Facebook and in LinkedIn groups, you might get the comment, and maybe you get that diamond in the rough. Maybe
Yeah.
Connected or Alien Labs head grower gets in there and drops a gem.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get the community and follow up. You're not going to get the ability to ask more questions. 99% of the time, absolutely not. That's just
I think
not the
that's
way it
really,
is.
and that's it. That's really the main, that's the main differentiating factor that we're trying to bring to the party, is that you get all the information in one simple set of modules, and then you get an ability to ask questions and follow up with the school community. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a 1-2 punch. Information synthesis that we've done for you, and then a place where you can actually connect with us online. Seems pretty simple to me, and the price point that we've got it set at right now is kind of absurd, but we just want people in the community to start to connect and build it from there.
When you're, we talk about cannabis, the industry, right? And where it's at
Sure.
and where things currently are. And we use this phrase all the time. We're in this infancy stage. We're so early, right, Tom? But you guys are a decade in.
Yep.
Washington, decade in. California, approaching a decade. Colorado, over a decade, right?
Yep.
The model's there, everybody. We're not sharing things that are that are so brand new anymore. We're not reinventing wheels for the most part. But the
Correct.
cool part is that it is about consistency and community, and you'll find that within that, if you find community and there's value within that, you'll grow if you're there. Consistency. It may not be every convo or every day, but you will find it if you are there, because people are always challenging themselves and innovating. It's human nature, and right now cannabis is thirsty for innovation. And so, Tom, I brought up your guys' website, Mother Magnolia Cultivation. Would you walk me through what we're looking at here? And if you want me to click on something, I'm happy to.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just close out the email thing. That's just a little pop up. So
Okay.
essentially, yeah, in that first video there, just gives an overview for what we're doing. Right. So if you want to, quick, just a quick rundown, that's my mug, giving the rundown there on what it is that we do, and how we've set up the
Mm-hmm.
platform. Yep.
That's awesome.
And then ultimately it's just so simple, right? You scroll down if you want to go ahead and join the community. You click down to the purchase option. It's $79 to join the community. If you're not ready to join yet, I've got a checklist there of a lot of the equipment that we feel like would be useful to consider.
Mm-hmm. Right here. That way you
Obviously,
can get. That way you can tap in with their email.
exactly, and that way you can stay in touch with us and start getting our newsletter each week. It's a really the website is very simple, really easy to use. It's again just going to take you to an opportunity for $79 to get all this information. We're definitely not going to leave that price point there forever, but this is our summer launch. This is our maiden voyage here with the
When you get a
platform.
seed pack,
What's that?
and you're giving out a seed pack.
We are, and let me just say this about that. Growing from seed for us here at the farm, for the most part, I would say 90% of our pheno hunts are done with regular seeds, not autos, not fems. For anyone watching or listening to this, you may or may not be aware that there are 3 categories of cannabis seeds that you can run. You can run an autoflower, which has nothing to do with photoperiod change, right? You can run feminized seeds, which means that you're essentially 100% guaranteed, even though we know it's not 100%, but
Yeah.
you're guaranteed to get a feminized plant, so you don't have to worry about any males coming through. And then the third category of seeds are regulars, right? And regs are male or female. You have to force the declaration. You got to know, do I have a female or a male plant? If you're a breeder, maybe you're excited about getting a male. If you're not a breeder, you definitely don't want a male, so you're just looking for those feminized plants. Anyway, back to the topic. Getting a free pack of seeds for us felt like a really important part of supporting the launch of anybody's cultivation.
Mm-hmm.
We have a bunch of our own genetics from our facility that we've been cultivating for quite some time, that we've been doing our own breeding projects. I won't go into the details of how difficult it is to deal with the red tape of getting seeds out of a licensed metric-based system, metric being the regulating, tracking seed to
trace.
scale.
Yep.
And so we also don't have feminized or autos as part of our offerings currently, only regular seeds. And for the average home grower, we felt like when it was all said and done, putting all the red tape aside from getting our seeds actually out of our facility and into a customer's hands, we felt like partnering with a breeder who could ensure that people were getting either autoflowers, which are super easy to run, or feminized seeds was going to be a better fit. And so we've partnered with James Loud and James Loud Genetics, and everyone who signs up is going to get a free pack of James best autoflowers to start.
Wow.
We may end up moving into some feminized seeds as well. We're just going to launch with the autos. That's something that James has been passionate about and has been a huge part of his breeding process for quite some time. I was down in September with James doing his podcast, the James Loud podcast, back in September, as a partnership with Beanstalk Agriculture. Beanstalk has been one of the staples in our lineup in terms of a controlled release fertilizer. So we went down, met James, did that whole podcast with them. We're one of the biggest, long-standing users of Beanstalk. So Beanstalk wanted us there on the podcast. We had a great meeting with James, great connection with James. We've stayed in touch since then. We've been running a lot of his genetics since that podcast, and we have found some phenomenal genetics in the pheno hunts that we've done. We're just starting another James Loud pheno hunt with about 5 or 6 of his different cultivars. And so the long story short about the free pack of seeds is that it just seems like a great partnership to bring new customers to James, getting some of his great genetics and empowering people who are joining the Mother Magnolia Cultivation Platform with some really simple, easy genetics to launch with. So you're not fumbling around trying to do more complex pheno hunts, searching for males and females and trying to sex things out. So a free pack of seeds to go with this just seemed like the icing on the cake. Like I just, from my perspective, it just seems like such a no-brainer. If you're new to cultivation,
depending on where you live, Tom,
yeah,
you got the knowledge, you got the seeds, you got maybe some paper towels and a plate at home. Go get some saran wrap. Fucking put those shits in the ground outside, depending on where you live. Let's go.
Exactly.
I got some friends that live up in Lompoc, California. They're on the coast, and it was funny. He said that. I remember a couple of years ago. I won't name the name because he's a buyer homie of mine, but this guy was like, "Yeah, man, I just threw some seeds out here and pissed on them, and them shits just grew. And then I just kept watering them, and then look at them, they're fucking huge." He's like, "So this one is this, and this one's that. I don't remember the names, but these things were healthy outdoor plants, and just regular indoor, from a regular indoor seed pack or whatever." But the point is these plants are resilient. And Tom, you guys giving them the game, the education, and giving them the pack. What else do you need, folks? Mother Magnolia Cultivation, man, tap it in. They are the plug. This is the hub for cannabis cultivation, whether you're at home or at scale. I got a 32-acre farm. They've grown 30,000 plants, folks. They've done it. You don't just start off growing 30,000, guys. You start at your home, then you grow, you partnerships, you get your apartments, these rooms. You start scaling it up. 2 lights, 4 lights, 6 lights, 8 lights, 2 rooms, 12, 2 rooms, 24, garages, right? Like multiple houses. Like you gotta be connected to somebody that has experience, folks. And Oregon folks, they know how to grow. Anybody that watches our shows, we're from the Pacific Northwest. I'm Seattle. I'm a 206, 425 kind of guy. Oregon, You guys been doing it. Let's circle back to Mother Magnolia Cultivation, some of the details here. I got some questions about who you guys think the content is best suited for. Is it for the person who just got a license and they want to double check that their team's doing it? Maybe it's a risk check. You know, I'm the big money guy for a grow, and I want to know what my team's doing. I want to be able to understand what they talk about, right?
Great question. Great question. I appreciate that. I think that that's the beauty of what we're trying to produce here is that with the 14 modules, it's obviously being run through our commercial cultivation filter.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the techniques and a lot of the images that you're seeing in those videos and a lot of the approaches are for commercial cultivation, especially when we're looking at the propagation of that and how you're balancing all of your sequencing for clones and when
Yep.
to take them in with the different rooms that you're trying to flip. And so all the sequencing and all the timing along that, that's very commercial cultivation. That's not necessarily homeowner cultivation.
Yep. Absolutely.
So anyone who is, for example, let's say that I'm Joe Cultivator, who's been actually on my cultivation game for quite some time. I'm actually really good at it. I've developed a pretty solid game and I feel really good about what I'm doing. And oh, by the way, in my state, I actually just finally saw that I can get a micro tier license and I could actually take this,
Or
commercial.
apply for some big boy jobs,
Absolutely. Or
career
apply it
jobs.
as a cultivator at a big commercial cultivation facility.
Right. Right.
Part of it is getting the Mother Magnolia cultivation certificate, which you get when you complete the modules. You get a certificate, is simply to be able to say, look, I've actually worked my way through a commercial cultivation module,
Course.
a
Yeah.
course,
Series of
and
yeah. Yeah.
a series, and I now have a basis of information.
Fire.
And so I feel like for somebody who is looking to actually apply the knowledge to a commercial approach, check that box. If you're a homeowner and you're looking to apply commercial cultivation technique and strategy to a homegrown approach, it translates beautifully there as well. So
Absolutely.
it's really for a big range of people that are just looking to understand cultivation through a couple of different filters. Again, whether it's commercial or home grow, it doesn't matter. All the principles still apply. You can scale it up or you can scale it down. And
Right.
then
I mean, the rooms,
yeah,
the tissue culture knives, the cloning tools, they got to be clean. You got to have the right nutrients, ingredients, water, reverse, whatever. Some version of it's got to all make sense. Stuff's got to be clean. It's got to be good, strong, healthy, right? You got to have a process. You as a person have to have discipline and be consistent within those processes. And the math has to math. Otherwise, you're going to burn them or they're gonna die, or they're gonna stunt, or they're gonna herm, or whatever happens when they're not super happy.
and
You know
here's
what
the
I'm
beauty of
saying?
cultivation. Cultivation has no shortage of banana peels to slip on. It's just
Mm-hmm.
around every corner, there is a little banana peel waiting for you. We've
Yep.
slipped on all of them. And if you've been in the game long enough, everyone has slipped on all of them. And so part of it is when you're cultivating or you're new to it and you slip on a banana peel, to have a platform like the Mother Magnolia Cultivation Platform in the school community, you get to post a picture and go, "Hey
You
guys,
guys a community,
I just slipped on a banana peel. Can anybody help me understand like how to deal with that?" And that's where you have us and the rest of the community is able to say, "Oh yeah, absolutely. I hear you, bro. No problem. This is what you need to do to correct that. Next time, make sure you don't do that by doing this." And that it's the information exchange. It's no different than any other information exchange where people are trying to pursue the highest level of expression with whatever that skill set is. Doesn't matter what it is. It happens to be, in this case, cultivating cannabis. But I think that a lot of the principles that we can bring to the table for everybody to learn from and to share are ultimately the basic blocking and tackling of just good cultivation.
who's in the school community? Who are those commenters and people that are participating? Is it
Yeah.
other ones, or is
Yeah.
it more experts that you guys have involved?
Yeah, so I've got so we're launching it with just the three people from my team, myself and my two leads on the garden crew, my garden manager and my soil manager. Those are my two, you know, those are my two Jedis that have been at it. You know, not only have they been here on the farm with me for they haven't been here the full 10 years, but they've been here for I think over 5 to 6. And then prior to being here on the farm, they both collectively have decades of experience of cultivating cannabis. So It's the three of us that ultimately are going to be there to start. I do have the fantasy, of course, of having some heavy hitters join the community, so that down the road, like a James Loud would be in the group to
Yes,
assess, to answer some
genetics experts,
exactly
nutrient partners, because it's, one thing that's important. And
100%.
I've been in, and I don't grow. I've grown 2 harvests, 1 failed, 1 did not. Right, home thing. 5 plants and then 23. I tried to just go and just see what happens. Right. Well, because
Sure,
I could buy clones in Cali. I could go buy 10 plants, drop
sure,
$250, get a bunch of cool shit, see what happened. Just
absolutely.
got super hot. They all turned male. So that's what happened.
Got
So shout out the 117-degree day that did that. Now, with that said, everyone's situation is different.
yeah,
Not every light works everywhere.
yeah.
Not every nutrient that will work for you in the same place with me. All water and everywhere is actually different. Crazy. You're not going to want to feed your plant bottles of water, folks. Let me tell you, that'll get expensive quick, right? So these plants drink. So there's a lot of different processes that have to go in. And ultimately, whatever it is that people do, whatever playbook people create, it's going to vary from location to location. And honestly, season to season, right, Tom? Because if I live somewhere and all of a sudden I'm getting hit with some pretty extreme weather, for example, 117 degrees where I used to live, all of a sudden you're not there because you're on vacation and you're trusting your friend to take care of it. Or maybe you are there and you've never dealt with this because it's never been this hot because global warming hasn't hit your state this hard before, right? There's so many different. Tom, you guys are in Oregon. I'm sure those fires, you count on them now every year. That has to have impact on the business somehow now. The outdoors, all the fires, the oxygen, the air, all those kinds of things. We have to account for these variables. And having access to a community of what to do, because you guys have seen these problems, and as you said so eloquently, slipping on the banana. I love that. It's a lot of
Yeah, I mean,
bananas to slip on.
I think that a lot of what you're looking for from a team of people, again, in any particular skill set, is you're just looking for experience. You want to know that the people that you're relying on, that you're asking questions to, that they've been there, that they understand all of the challenges that you're facing, and that they're there to support your process. And it's an important part of what we feel the platform is there to provide. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
reliable source of information when stuff comes up that you don't know how to deal with. And that's really the crux of it. That's really the essence of what we feel is long term over the next 3 to 5 years as we're growing this platform. That to me is the thing I'm most excited about, is ultimately just providing a resource of information for people that they can count on.
A lot of experience coming from you guys in the team, a decade yourself, 5 to 6 years with the squad. They had their own collective experience doing it and have their own visions. You guys, Oregon has been through and seen a lot. Commercial cannabis there by no means is easy, from the market to the saturation to the differentiation, the volatility. Oregon goes through it, folks. They
There's
always
also
say
just some.
you
There's
can
also
make it in Oregon. They say you can make it anywhere,
that's right. No
but every market is so different.
doubt. Hmm.
It is not a true statement because there have been Washington and Oregon folks and Cali folks that have gone and bounced around, and their shit did not necessarily stink as great
Yeah,
as from market to market. And
it's
it's
challenging.
because New York, Missouri, New Jersey, Illinois, these people care about local, just like we do, man. You got love for Oregon. I got love for Oregon too. Do I have as much same for Oregon as I do for Seattle? Hard to say because I'm from Washington, right? So we care about local. We want to support local. And this is an opportunity for you guys to learn from a true local group, man. Craft, but also too at scale, commercial at scale. Tom, I really appreciate you popping on and rocking with RMR, and more importantly than rocking with us, just doing your part to get this knowledge and education out there. People talk about the culture, but the knowledge. We wouldn't have great cannabis if people didn't have passion and discipline for growing weed at a high level, at scale,
It,
commercially.
it's kind of incredible when you think about what this plant has been able to mobilize over the last, let's just say, 50
Solid
years.
20 years, a solid
Let's
20
go,
years.
let's go, let's go solid 20 years. Fine. Okay. So for the last 20 years, what this plant has been able to mobilize in the way of human effort, endeavor, energy,
Yeah.
capital, you name it. I mean, it's remarkable. It's a plant This is not,
People aren't smoking bananas, folks.
come on. This is
People, we're
this
like, it was crazy when they started putting chicken teriyaki in pineapples. We're
this is
talking, we're talking a whole different realm of business and industries and creativity and fun.
it's extraordinary. It's absolutely extraordinary. And what we have felt here on our farm over the last decade is that this plant is relentless in the demands she makes on all of the intricacies and nuances that she requires.
Mm-hmm.
So as you go deeper in your cultivation work, you realize all of the nuance and all the subtlety that's required. Not every single cultivar is the same, at the risk of stating the obvious. You
Yep.
have to get to know each one of those genetics, just like, all your kids are not the same. They all have different personalities. They all have different traits. And so part of what has been endlessly fascinating for us over the last decade here at Scale is just to learn over and over and over and over again all of the different, intricacies and challenges that present themselves. Just when you think you've got the game, dialed in, Mother Nature and this plant say, yeah, not so fast.
Right.
Take a look at this situation now. You thought you had it all figured out, but here's a curveball. So and that's what keeps it dynamic. That's what keeps it exciting. That's what keeps it fun, is because it's like playing golf. Every time you go out on the course, 18 holes, it's a whole different journey every single time. Some days are going to be good, some days are going to be bad, and that's how we feel about the cultivation process. It is just an ongoing, never-ending process of learning. And then it's like a closed loop system where you then take that data, you pump it back into the system, and it gets better. And then more data gets spit out. You pump that back into the system, and it's an ongoing process that, if you're into cultivation and you love that magic and that mystery of, popping seeds, is like, that's big bang energy. I mean, that's so exciting to see what's going to happen when you actually pop a seed and then get on that journey and watch it go.
Creating new life.
We're here for all
And
that.
sometimes people literally like created that new life. Like they were they
Exactly.
were the person that sprinkled the dust and did the thing and touched it or whatever it was, and like made this whole new thing come to life.
Correct.
Created the new flavor, created the new effects, created the new the cannabinoid profile and potential magic or potential chronic condition curing.
That's it. I
Who
mean,
knows? There's
yeah,
anything.
no, 100%. And I think that's really, making something out of nothing, like literally just that creative force, is, I think, really the thing that is so exciting about cultivation, is that to watch it go from seed to seedling to the flower phase to the harvest. That's really the essence of everything that any good cultivation practice has. I don't care if you're cultivating a new skill, like you're learning guitar, or you're cultivating relationships, or you're cultivating health and wellness, you're cultivating actual plants, whatever it is that you're cultivating. You got to plant a seed at some point, and you got to say, I'm going to do this thing. And you plant the seed, but then you go through the awkward, challenging, difficult phase of the seedling, when it's kind of just getting rooted and it's just going. But that seedling also has got all that life force charging through it, and you're the one that's responsible for guiding and shaping that life, that journey. And
Yeah.
then you get into the flower phase, and wow, that's like, it's incredible, right? It's absolutely
All
miraculous.
that work finally being expressed, whether it's like
Boom.
it is art because it's like
Totally.
paintings with colors, or maybe you're cooking and it's flavors, those smells, the colors, the way that the plant responds to different things. It's very much an immersive experience.
It's an immersive experience that you are ultimately, right? The language, you and I are using a language right now to communicate, and that's cool. I understand what you're saying, and you understand what I'm saying, because we both speak English. And if I suddenly dropped into Mandarin, unless you speak Mandarin, you'd be like, yo, Tom, you just lost me on that. I need to can we get back to English? The language that we're using with our plants, if you don't speak that language, you're lost.
Yeah.
And the language we use to communicate with plants has to do with lighting. It has to do with nutrients. It has to do with soil science. It has to do with room environment and VPD and all of these different elements that we are ultimately sending in as a stimulus to this plant. We're communicating, we're saying something to that plant when we're sending nutrients, or we're sending a particular pH, or dropping a particular PPFD onto that canopy. That's communication. The plant then communicates back to you like, bro, you nailed it. I love it. And the plant is healthy. It's surging. It's doing great. That's a dialogue. And so it's learning how to dialogue with your plant, and it's learning the language of cultivation that then allows you to cultivate at a higher and higher level. The
The
real
frequent, then because the communication, the results, the frequency, now you're communicating and vibrating at a higher level, and then that can stack up and stack up and stack up.
the master growers, I don't care, just even, not even in exclusively to cannabis, just master growers who really understand soil science and how to interact with plants. This is a language that they have learned over a long time of really being mindful and focused on what it means to engage with plants.
Yeah.
And we use soil science, and we use all these different ways of understanding what plants want and need at all the different stages of their growth, from week 1 to week 9. It's an endless process of learning that language, and the better that you know that language, the better that you communicate with plants, the better the results, and the more fun it is. And so that's what we're here for. We're here to support developing that cultivation language so that people can communicate with their plants better and better and better, and they can have a more exciting and fulfilling process of expressing that cultivation.
We want to unlock your potential, folks. We want to unlock the genetics potential. Humans, our genetic potential is based strictly on parents. I can't get any taller. You can't, no matter how you stimulate me, Tom. Nothing you can do. I'm not gonna get taller. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna happen. And so, plants, we're able to have almost customizable impact if you can communicate the language. They call it crop steering, and that's been developed over time in vegetables and fruits and the things that we need at the commercial level for our agriculture, for our country, for food, for the size of populations, right? The cannabis wasn't legal, so we didn't get to do that. You couldn't grow too much unless you were the cartels.
And if you think about the way that commercial agriculture communicates with plants, right, you have essentially 2 different styles there. You've got organic and regular, inorganic, salt-based. And I think that if you were to ask 100 people, hey, where do you like to, what would be your ideal food source, right? It would be, dude, I want to get my food straight from the local farm that is not spraying any pesticides and is running a really sustainable, regenerative, organic approach on their cultivation practice. Not because the food tastes better, but also it's just better for the planet. It's just better for the soil. It's better for the environment. Okay. Similarly, we can do that with cannabis. There's a bunch of different ways of growing cannabis, and we know that, right? There's a bunch of different styles from
living soil. Most of the people that grow living soil, they don't grow average weed, Tom.
That's us. So we've been loyal to the soil from day one. We decided that soil and LED technology was going to be the foundation for how we approached our cultivation. I'm not suggesting that cultivating with hydro using rock wool or cocoa coir is not a viable way to cultivate. Of course,
great weed definitely comes from that.
No doubt.
Yep.
For us, we believe that ultimately, when it comes to terpene profiles and the flavor that we're interested in our cannabis is driven by the soil that we've been cultivating now for years and years, and re-amending and adding the microbial base and adding the worms and adding all the bio stimulants into that soil. Basically, it's like they talk about in wine culture, right? The terroir, the flavor that is being imparted into those grapes from the soil that those grapes are grown in, which is why the terroir, the soil that's grown in southern France, is different than the Willamette Valley, is different than Australia, is different than Humboldt, right? It's all very unique in the way that the microbes are unlocking the nutrients in that soil.
Different bacteria, different sets of problems, different 100%. History, layers of clay, tsunamis, volcanoes. Washington, Oregon, it comes from a series of volcanoes that literally runs all the way through California as well. You've got the faults, dry, dusty deserts, then you got wet rainforests in different regions. There's a lot to, constantly changing. What you're saying is, it's a balancing. It's a balance. You got to balance it, folks. You got to learn. It's tough to know all that, but with your guys' community, the school community, the questions, the photos, the proactivity there from your guys' team to be involved in creating that platform, to give people a home, to become the hub of commercial cannabis cultivation for the people that are trying to learn, maybe get that new job, level up their career, get into growing at home, get into growing at their job. Maybe you're a trimmer and you want to level up into the garden. It's as simple as that, folks. Cannabis is a journey. If the quicker or sooner that you can learn a variety of things through experience or education or a combination of both, in my belief, Tom, the quicker we find out what you really want or like or enjoy in cannabis beyond the smoking or the dabbing or the edibles or whatever it is your consumption is.
It's also,
How to
Joey,
contribute to the world with us.
100% well said. And the only thing I would add to that is that, it's really not much different than growing your own, setting up a small little vegetable garden at home. If you're growing your own tomatoes or growing some zucchini, growing some lettuce, growing some herbs, the experience of harvesting your own food and then preparing a small little meal or a salad with your freshly harvested produce, it just tastes different.
It does.
It does. It's a different level of quality and it's a different experience because you were responsible for making that happen. And I think that's the magic of cannabis is when you're growing it yourself, it just changes the experience of what that feels like when you're finally, you finally dried it down, you've cured it, you've got it all ready to go, and then you're able to share it with your friends and family. I think it's the way forward, right? And this is coming from somebody who grows cannabis commercially for people to go to the dispensary and buy.
Yeah.
I still want to see people empowered to do that, or teach people how to ultimately, as you said, be a better team member at a larger commercial facility.
I'll be honest. If there was the same thing that you're doing for $79 a month to grow my own food at home.
It's not $79 a month, by the way, just to be
Oh,
clear.
I'm sorry, not a month, for the lifetime, but that's for the deal, right? If
That's the deal.
even my comment stands, even if it was $80 a month, right? To have access to the community and to do that
Yeah,
kind of stuff, to
that's what I'm
get
saying.
seeds. Maybe you make the monthly thing down in the future and we're able to get some cool seed packs and stuff like that. Because
Yeah,
a seed pack for $20 or for $80, depending on the seed pack, is still a great deal.
that's what I'm
And
saying.
and so it's like the value is there plus the education. I hear you on your discount and the entry level pricing now, and you're just launching and all that. But over time, you get that back. The knowledge, it's not to say it's invaluable. What if you're broke? I need money now. It's like things can't be invaluable if money's tight, you know? Like if you're trying to get that new career, if you're a trimmer, you're making $15 an hour, you know what I'm saying? Money is tight for you. You're trying to level up, you got to pay more money to go to college. Well, this is the deal, folks, that we're running. This is why Tom connected with us, is to bring awareness to you guys. So anybody that works for a brand out there that you guys cultivate, any farms out there with commercial cultivations, indoor, outdoor, think about your trimmers. Don't you want people to work for you for 10 years? Give them opportunities of room for growth. So I challenge all commercial cultivations out there. I challenge all indoor, all outdoor, whatever it is that you guys do, all you greenhouse folks out there, anybody with a bunch of staff, why don't you pay for this course for 10 of you guys and level up your team? Get you guys all a base level. Have them know how to do it your way, and have them be able to recognize other things too. Have them be able to have a home, have the hub, have access to it, create these resources. It's important. I compare things like this. When my dad used to work for Boeing, maybe he does, I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a while. But they used to pay for him to have the gym membership because they wanted their employees to be healthy so they could work at Boeing for a long time and be at the top of their game. Part of being at the top of your game, folks, is continuing your education, surrounding yourself with more people that know these things. So I challenge anybody out there, man, do your research, investigate, teach your teams, focus on education, do all those things, but consider supporting Mother Magnolia and what they're doing over here with their cultivation platform, because these guys doing it the right way, living soil, every grower should know how to grow in multiple styles. It should be like music theory. They should just understand the
Mm.
theory of all these things, man, not just be boxed in. And for all you money people out there, anybody watching from the Benzingas of the world that goes around and raises money, this makes sense for you to know too. That way, you guys who walk into these grows and these facilities that you're raising money for or that you're helping out, and you can identify the problems. And not only that, you can identify when someone's talking out of their ass.
That's a really good point. When you have the knowledge and you have the information, you then have the ability to ask better questions. When you
Better
ask better
questions.
questions, you get better answers. When you get better answers, you can make more informed decisions.
Mm-hmm. And it
So
becomes easier because then the conviction shines through. Your eyes light up because they are lighting up for the right reasons, not because the 40 million square foot facility with a million canopy or whatever. Tom, before we get you out of here, I want to show your video. Okay, I got you. I want to make sure we play that. So I'm going to share the screen again.
by all means.
Everybody, this is the moment for you guys that I want you guys to tap in, watch this video with us, and let's get it popping. Let me take it back to the beginning real quick.
Welcome to the platform. We're so stoked that you made it, and we're excited to have you here. Let me give you a very simple overview of what the platform is and how you can best take advantage of it. So, to begin, we have 14 modules that we have put together, which is over 3 hours of content that covers an A to Z approach of cultivation. From propagation through the vegetative cycle, the flower cycle, we cover fertility, biology, all aspects, all the way through trimming, post-production, curing, drying, the whole bit. So in addition to the modules, we have our school community. Now this is probably the most important place for you to tune in. The school community is a place where you can post pictures, ask questions, and get those questions answered. So myself and my team will be there to support you with your cultivation practice along the way. If you have questions about deficiencies, issues, environment, anything at all, we can support you by giving you real-time feedback. You post a picture, we can assess, and then give you feedback. It's awesome. The next thing that you're gonna get is if you're brand new to cultivation and you're not sure what to buy, we've got Tom's Essentials Checklist available for you, which gives you a breakdown of all the products and all the items that you're gonna need in order to launch a basic cultivation setup. The next thing that you're going to get is an ebook where we've basically given a nice overview of the cultivation process from setup all the way through the cultivation and into harvest. So it gives you a sense of a roadmap, a blueprint for how to approach this. The last thing you're going to get are some discount codes. These are products that we've been using for years on the farm that we love, and we've set up partnerships with these vendors to give you guys those discount codes so that if you do want to use those products, you can apply those discount codes and get them a little bit cheaper. Okay, so how do you join? How do you sign up? There's a free option and there's a paid option. The free option is just put in your email, you'll sign up for our newsletter, and you'll get Tom's Essentials Checklist. You can do that today. It's free and easy. The second option is the paid option. You can click the link below, you can buy the course, you'll get immediate access to all 14 modules, the school community, and everything else. We're running a summer special right now to launch the platform, and it is an absurdly killer deal. We strongly recommend you take advantage of this now because it's not gonna last forever. Either way, we're excited to have you here. We would love to see you in our school community, asking questions, posting your pictures, and doing all cool things cultivation related. So, we'll see you on the other side, and remember, let's cultivate.
Let's go. Let's go. Mother Magnolia Cultivation, man. Make sure y'all tap in mothermagnoliacultivation.com. You heard Tom there on the video, guys. There's a free option. There's a paid option. And I'll also say sounds like there's an option 3 of stay tapped in with your YouTube channel and get some of the bits and pieces for the low because you have to give the game a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, for sure. And we're constantly, YouTube is a tricky bit to navigate with the age restriction when you're doing content with cannabis. But go to our channel, Mother Magnolia Cultivation on YouTube. We've got lots of information from our shorts to our longer form videos. That's been a fun process too. Turns out actually it's not that easy to make good YouTube videos. We've been enjoying that challenge for sure.
You guys are doing good, dude. I was watching some of them. They're attractive. You guys are this balance between like the old YouTube look meets cannabis content and like a real coach, because you guys are coaching. You know what I mean?
That's
I think
it.
that's important.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. There's nothing intimidating or scary about the whole process. We're here to support anybody who's interested in leaning in for the first time. Or again, as you pointed out a couple of times, Joey, if there's some folks who already do have good cannabis experience, but they're looking to round out their understanding and to see things through a different lens and get a different perspective, we think it's a pretty killer deal. And like I said, this partnership with James Loud, which we're going to end up featuring on the website. This is a partnership that we just cemented actually in the last couple of weeks.
Wow.
And so we're really excited to have James on board with that. We're going to be more public facing with the logo of the James Loud genetics and some of the different offerings there in the upcoming weeks here. So stay tuned for that, and just know that you're going to get a nice free pack of autoflower seeds with your order. And that'll be we'll make that a bit more clear on the site once we have that James Loud logo up on the site. And it's all a huge new experience for us that we're just so excited to connect with anyone who's interested in learning and going further with this. We know that the learning never stops on our end as well. And so part of this from a selfish perspective is that we feel like by doing this, we're going to improve our cultivation skills by simply facing a lot of the questions and a lot of the challenges that everyone else is facing. So I think it's a win-win. I think that there's a lot of upside for us as well as the community in leaning in on something like this. We're motivated and excited to get started on this. So we hope to see you guys in there.
Come on, man. Tom Scoble here. Checking in live, folks. Mother Magnolia Cultivation. I appreciate you for joining here on today's episode, man. And it's been a wonderful conversation. As cannabis has been described multiple times by me on this episode, it's a journey. And today's episode was certainly a journey with you, making me think about Oregon, the Willamette Valley, and Tualatin, and just how wonderful and great the cannabis community is, and how much it varies from region to region, state to state, town to town, city to city, strains, genetics, people, the way we talk about it, the language of it, and just a lot to put in perspective there. I feel like even for me, folks, I gained a little bit today, if not a lot today, just by thinking differently and just by engaging on different touch points and things. And with 3 hours of content across 14 modules, folks, this is a great opportunity for you guys. Massively discounted, lifetime access. Be sure to tap in. For those of you guys watching, like, follow, subscribe. Visit mothermagnoliacultivation.com to sign up, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Oh, and don't forget, subscribe to their YouTube channel.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me today, Joey. I really appreciate the invitation, and